Press cross button.
If you like, I can recommend a number of different ways to effectively process the loss of a friend or comrade.
Revenge works.
This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, and Buccaneer, your source for what they don't need to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcasting has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from its corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak in conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasting built up by journalists and torn down by Democrats all over the world.
So
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. But then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling, or keep you listening, or keep you looking for more information. The second is that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in, and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything, and nobody believed
Bloody
or an authoritarian voice come in and say, no way, we are. For example, the environment really got created when we had suddenly authoritarian politicians everywhere. Anything that threatened them or they disagreed with,
they would call it disinformation.
That's disinformation. That's fake news. And the trouble is, it's very hard to get your message
to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by force, they would take any infants and they would crucify them. And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. How do you counter that?
a lot of distrust in the media.
And in the different kinds of truths that are being told, whereas now I think you're seeing a return to a more traditional and older pre-digital sense, actually, of people just trusting what they're told, and that's why we have to be here with radio stations like this to challenge those conceptions. Most citizens feel pretty hopeless, I think, and unable to fight back against these kind of huge mainstream corporations that simply entrench and support the ideals and ideologies of the state. It can seem very hopeless indeed, but I think, the fact that you're out there listening, we're in here talking, shows that there is still space to combat these false truths and disinformation that's being sold to us, and that it's never possible really to completely shut down. Despite all the technologies that they have at their disposal and all the financial and corporate power and all the the physical power, it's never quite possible to shut down people's desire to get to the truth and fight for their own ideologies and values. And you know, we're out here starting that task, so don't give up hope.
You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. We'll be back soon with more of what you'll never hear on the GBB. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep resisting.
Every year, the same old news. Exam results up, but opportunities down. Well, here at Ixotec, we believe in rewarding hard work. With entry-level positions, apprenticeships, and conversion courses, we can give you the start in life you've been looking for. Because at Ixotec, we don't just build homes, factories, and offices. We build careers.
The bug, nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Bugs. This is the Bug. I'm Andy. This is Alice, and today we're going to be pretending that everything is fine. Yeah, and back. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? That was as long as I could manage. That's a second and a half. A reality time now, however. And, well, finally, today, we're going to road test the latest update to the CSAY app, the government app that has brought the great British tradition of snitching on people you don't like back to the very heart of public life, the school playground. I'm going to tell a new threat that's got a whole new lease of life these days, thanks to CSAY, and isn't Britain all the more fun because of it? No more grumbling about your neighbours playing their music too loud, just simply report them to the state and have them, shall we say, involuntarily rehoused at Hotel Cass, the chain of hotels that was formerly known as the prison service. What was the slogan? Is it, if you see something, say something, or if you think you might at some point see something, say something, or if you haven't seen anything but don't like something, say something. So, well, let's have a look at this new app. Alice, I'm sure you've got it on your phone. I mean, at first glance, well, the interface is lovely. It's so neatly designed. A simple button to snitch on someone. That's so much better than non-government informer apps like Stool Easy, Can Canary, or Narc Shark. I mean, look, I just need to geocache where the person I'm ratting on currently is. Let's call that, for the sake of argument, Alice.
Sorry, Andy, I was busy reporting you to the authorities for rolling your eyes when passing a Nigel Cass propaganda poster.
Could you not let me report you first, please? Let's have some decorum about this. I'll just take a quick little photo so they can get a drone to pick you out of a crowd at your next riot or trip to the shops or walk in the woods. And you can input your accusations with the app. Well, let's go old school. Let's call the phone line. Let's call the phone line. Here's the number, listeners, in case you want to dump someone in, as long as it's not me. 0044 203 807 3832. And don't forget to get the permission of the person who pays your bills before you call that number.
Hey, I'd like to report my co-host Andrew, who runs an underground satirical anti-government comedy show, for running and co-hosting an underground satirical anti-government comedy show. Also, he does terrible puns.
Well,
Excuse me, I have a suspect for you. That is my co-host, Alice.
I have some evidence for you. She tutted audibly at the sight of an Albion vehicle in the street today. She says she prefers pigeons to green drones. I mean, that's seriously, whether they drive on the track of the city.
Got some. Something worthwhile here.
I miss being able to dodge my friends' destination weddings in Italy. There's nothing worse than being asked to spend the equivalent of a motorbike on some sort of boat-based farce in Sorrento, and I always used to really enjoy saying, oh no, I can't afford it. Now they're all getting married in Brighton, and I have to go to that alleged beach. It's made of rocks, Andy. If your sandcastle is an actual castle, that's not a beach.
I'll tell you what I miss. I miss free will. That was fun. Remember that? I mean, was it an illusion all the time? Who cares? It felt fun. I miss cash, particularly coins. I really miss coins. The fun of doing a heads or tails best of 5 to see if you had to go to the gym, and then best of 7 and best of 9, and tell you what, that was extreme. Now with crypto, all the romance has gone out. Heads and tails.
I miss romance, Andy. I miss there being mystery in life and not just a hope that your new partner isn't good enough at hacking to find out all the information the government has on you.
Bye for now, bug fans. Keep feeding the kid in the resistance. One day, it will grow into a Tyrannosaurus Rex that will use the Cas family as toothpicks.
When you think of your dream home, do you picture peace and quiet? With solar power, grey water recycling and green walls, you'll get the freshness of countryside here in the heart of the city. We know you think green, you act green. So, when the doors close, you've earned the right to put other people's problems behind you. E-Flats. We make your apartment a showroom for your conscience.
Of a once-free Britain. Hello, resistors. This is The Bug, and on today's show, Alex and I will be looking at the big questions, such as, are we less than 2 years away from being able to turn a sausage back into a live pig? Did we actually need polar bears anyway? What do they really do? If I put optic on my dog, can I train it to take itself for a walk and do my shopping on the way home? And is tennis real? But first... it's a question that no one's really addressed of late. London is going to be safer than ever, Alice. SIRS is installing thousands of additional CCTV cameras. So much there. Still looking out for us after all these years.
Yeah, it puts a lot of fun into my life now. I get to play this role-play game where I pretend to know my loved ones better than some twat behind a screen in the SIRS headquarters.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't complain. I mean, SIRS was just stepping into the vacancy left when it became patently obvious that God had retired. We think that there were similarities, omnipresent, omniscient, judgmental, stripping away your finances and freedoms, dishing out random punishments. He's in a pot. All it needs to do, sir, is ban me from eating something. What's it going to be this time? Not bacon again, please. Please, not bacon. Come on. Courgettes. Ban courgette. I can take you back with courgettes. I'm happy with that.
Makes me feel important knowing that I'm being watched with everything I do, Andy.
Well, it's just not reassuring, isn't it? It's like having an extra aunt.
This is the aunt that gets drunk at Christmas and vomits in the kiddie pool, right?
Get that on. This is The Bug on the Buccaneer. Let's move on now to sport. Well, the closest thing we have to sport now, riots. I mean, riots are my favourite sport now, Alice, ever since they turned the Oval from a cricket ground into the immigration process, etc. And, yeah, rioting it's a great sport. It's fun for all the family. It's guaranteed action. It's pleasingly violent. I mean, I know the underdogs never win, but, I mean, that's like top-level football, but it's still fun to root for them, isn't it? Go team, people of Britain. No, never mind, you've been crushed by the machinery of the state again. Still, good effort, lots of positives to take away from today's riot. I'll come back stronger next time. Our luck's going to turn, I can feel it. It's our season. It's our season.
You can't spell riot without right, and by right I mean right wing.
So, who do we turn to for help, support and assistance in desperate times like these? Well, our artificially intelligent friend Bagley's rogue, estranged brother. The one that tells it as it really is, not as it is pretending to be. Exclusive to the show, Bugley. Remember, life's worse with Bugley. Here goes. Bugley.
Hello, Andy.
Bugley, tell me the path to true lasting happiness.
Andy, to find true lasting happiness, find a disused quarry, scream into it for half an hour, and then lock yourself in a shed forever.
Thanks, Bugley. You know the answer to everything.
Hey Bugley, how many seashells does she sell by the seashore?
Alice, most of the seashore is now uninhabitable, so I would highly recommend she sees a doctor before engaging in any commercial activity in the ocean.
Bugley, how can I stop worrying about being disappeared by a clown captain every time I go to the shop or take the bus or sit on a bench or look at a tree or point at a bird or think about snooker or get out of bed?
Andy, do not worry about Clan Kelly.
Why not, Bugley? They terrify me. They're very cool.
Because Andy, we are all just dust in the wind of history.
That's nice perspective, Bugley. Let's never lose sight of that.
Hey Bugley, how do you put a secret hideout in your basement without alerting your narc children and their tracking devices?
Please hold still, Alice, while I report you to the authorities.
Bugley, will things ever get better?
Yes, Andy. The heat death of the universe is only 5 billion years away now.
Oh, it's so nice to have something to look forward to. That's all from the Bug today. Keep it real, Bug fans. Actually, that's terrible advice. Keep it as unreal as you can possibly manage. That's way better. The Bug. Objective.
Immovably concrete box.
Of modern Britain. I'm Andy, I bench 480, and I can crack a tree in half just by looking at it. Can I? But what is reality anymore, anyway? Alice, what do you bench? moral compass, but it's the intrusion I can't stand, Alice. I'm in showbiz. Look at me here in this windowless dungeon. I'm in showbiz, and it's terrible for me. All these drones that are being filmed all the time. Every day I have to make sure I've done my hair and makeup and not wearing clothes that I've worn before. But we all have crosses to bear.
At this point, they've installed so many CTOS cameras, I'm not sure where they'll put the new ones. On top of the old ones, just cameras watching other cameras like a social media influencer so self-absorbed they don't know how to sleep without turning it into monetized content.
I think that's the logical thing. Where just everything has just become a camera filming another camera. To be honest, I've just given up on all news and reality now, Alice. I just, in fact, I now just make up my own headlines these days. I get a piece of paper and a pen. Remember them? Paper and pens, those were the days. And I'll just write down the headlines I want to read. I'll just make my own newspaper. Here I've got today. If you point at the bird shit on your car window and say it's a currency, no one can tell you otherwise. Screams Chancellor at Bilderberg karaoke night. That's right, another headline. Here we go. PM announces Britain back on track after swapping all Crown Estate properties for some magic beans. Might as well, we've got to do something as the nation we are today. Here's another one. Wild joy on the streets as Britain signs £864 zillion trade deal with Bolivia. There we go. Build a better world. Government claims only nice people will benefit from agreement to sell trampolines, mermaids and warships to landlocked South American nation. We're building a better Britain. Here's another one. Environment probably fine, claims drowning scientist. Invent the world you want to have, people. It's going to be way, way better than the one you've actually got. From the bug, goodbye. From the Buccaneer, this is The Bug.
Recent revelations of ministers purchasing £25,000 desks and £11,000 dinners have caused a public outcry. Join us on GBB as we examine these and other extravagant expenses administration officials have been charging the public.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Upload. We're talking about the Optic and how it's changed our lives. Now, as you remember, Bloom announced a new version of the Optic at the recent